So let me get this straight. If we're looking at this, Raw had a crowd. And I'll say this is the only positive we're going to give this show. Raw did rate at 1.9. I'll say that because of the attendance finally being there, and many fans' complaints have been because of poor lack of attendance. They just don't feel like they're watching Monday Night Raw, and that is an understandable excuse, but also a poor one in some aspects because you suspect Raw to be more archaic or more outlandish because they don't have the crowd there. That means they have more insane creative freedom to do what they can in an open playing field where literally they can do whatever they want. And they messed it up, and then you got the Thunderdome. That's the only cool thing is they had fat neckbeards on TVs this time. So, literally, to hype up the factor of this, Cena made his promo involving him coming back, and he'll also show up on SmackDown to talk to the Samoan tribal chief. I'm doing this for the kids. Of course, we had the biggest John Cena promo ever. The only thing that saved the promo was he had a cool interaction with Matt Riddle, and the only thing cool about it was Cena is actually an entertaining person. Even how many crap movies he does, he can actually be a charismatic character whenever he can. With the whole bro segment, and fans were actually chanting over with the bro. It's like, bro, shit. It was actually good. So I'll give it that semblance of positive. And then we ended over with a 6-man tag. Riddle and the Viking Raiders move over to face up against John Morrison and Johnny Drip Drip. I think they call themselves the Drip Sheet. Something gay. Something really disgusting. Against Omos. The coolest move was Omos Styles off the ropes, almost plunged him outside to take off the Viking Raiders. They caught him and they just smushed him into a sandwich. It really looked more sexual than actually painful. And that's practically it. There's a miscommunication over the heels with Omos getting splashed by Riddle, ending with the Viking experience on, I think it was on Styles, and end with the victory. So that's technically it. Average 6-man tag, but I wish they were more inspiring with their match stipulations. It really gets boring. Then we had Jackson Riker beating Elias in the Symphony of Destruction match. Why have a match stipulation that you don't have an advantage over? Why? I don't get it. Sure, Monsters Ball, like, usually Abyss takes a lot of the abuse, but he still comes up winning a couple of them that I remember. Yeah, how can you have your own match stipulation involving you and instruments and you still lose clean? Literally. He is taken over by many, like a gong, even though they messed up the gong spot, an amp spot was messed up. I thought those were like missed cues. The story means nothing. I'm not getting behind over Riker over his weird revealing bald spot. And he comes up just bashing him over to a table. This got me nothing invested on Riker, and Elias is just getting buried over, even though he can still get crowd reaction, and they're not utilizing him perfectly. He should have his own little security guard, his own band. That would be actually funny. Don't know why they're not utilizing him like that. Then we have Natalya and Tamina beating Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax over miscommunication with Reginald hitting over to the corner trying to distract. He does moonsaults. Sharpshooter. There was a sharpshooter on I think Shayna Baszler to get the submission, and it gets the clean victory. So it looks like they kind of gave off the Alexa Bliss storyline because it's not going anywhere. With Nia Jax turning over Reginald and giving him a headbutt, but later on, 24/7 jobbers came in, and then he just with some handspring takedown, he gets the pin and wins 24/7 title. So I guess they'll find ways to implement that in the story. I don't really care. I guess because he's an actual performer and he has athletics and he dresses nicely. That's why he's still given a lot of opportunity. Then it was like the GM going over, hey, you gotta give Humberto a clean victory. He beats him clean anyway. Over the backstage assaults, they are so done with this feud that they don't put it on TV for over nearly a month. And literally, they're not gland handing. It's like, oh, Vince has nothing to do with these jobbers. They're jobbers. They can speak a bare minimum of English. At least there was a tiny bit of potential over with Andrade, but it's just his poor look and just no charisma comes over him being a literal like legit luchador, and he has soap opera looks, and he still can't get over. Del Rio was at least the last dying hope of it because he looks like a main eventer, can talk, had a good ring announcer, and can actually graduate over heat with the aristocrat gimmick, and then they force him over face, and then the shit with Paige, then he's in the bare minimum still working at indie feds. So Sheamus beats him over a bro kick and a dominant look, and if that's the case, why beat him over backstage? There was no extend over a personal feud with this. So literally having them just force over this fight was for nothing. That is stupid, and it was a waste. Hope they move. They're trying to move over now to Damian Priest to Sheamus, even though Damian Priest as well has been doing the bare minimum of screening time. I think it's over health issues, but I think it's over that he just looks like Latino Corbin with gay dreads and no charisma. I hope they do better because I'm actually trying to wish that we have better youth talent, even though the youth are pushing 40. Next, we have McIntyre attacking Jinder Mahal with, of course, Great Khali Jr.'s caressing over the ring. And McIntyre delivers a chair shot to most of them, being like, "Oh, where's McIntyre? Where's McIntyre? He insulted you last week over you breaking his fake sword, and then you think, oh, he's not gonna show up. Why? There was no issue with a medical issue, no extent on anything. So it was literally just a cheap over pop. It would be silly if he came with the sword and tried to threaten your lives right now. What is this extending over gender? He looks like he should be important, yet he's not because he's so dull. And McIntyre, they're diminishing over any semblance of a feud anyway because there's no personal anguish between two former jobber faction members. Literally, it's like if Taka Michinoku became a main eventer. If he became a main eventer, you think we're really going to consist of feud that's not going to last like 2 weeks with Kai and Tai until he goes to something actually more important? Then we had Jake Karrion Kross, the NXT champion, making his first debut on Raw after we saw him weeks prior at main event, ironically. And he comes over facing Jeff Hardy with no more words, reliving 2008. 2007 was better anyway. So, it's cool. It's cool to see no more words. Fans popped. Literally, I was in. Shout out to Jamel, person who comes over to the Rant Squad a handful of times. Had a bit of a discussion over if Jeff would get over, and it's like, bro, Matt does these gimmicks to try to keep relevant. Well, Jeff doesn't even need to do that more because Jeff Hardy itself is over. Matt Hardy will always be consistent for like underrated because he gets the bare minimum reaction unless he's in a character. Jeff alone gets people's butts in the seats because Jeff Hardy is cool. He's what's right with wrestling. Great physical charisma, inspirational looking. Guess what? The people still pop. Came over after the twist of fate. Came up to the top row. People were off their seats. You need to push this guy more over on TV, and you can't be making him. You gotta force him over an underdog spot. Don't make it over drugs. Just make it over that he probably can't do what he did over 10 years ago. Because I don't want to see another drug related feud. Like stop. It gets overplayed and nobody cares. uh, but poor for a dirty pin win over Jeff Hardy when you're an NXT guy. If that's a possibility, why didn't they just make it drop the NXT title and make you lose to Jeff Hardy in your debut, but give you a different character? I understand. I guess Vince is doing this to make sure that you have to know your place in the company or something. That's the only extent that I give it. Because if it was Triple H, uh, they would make Karrion Kross kill Jeff Hardy, but no. Then Karrion got pissed off. Is like, bro, you're a rookie. It's like, oh, meet him next week if you want to hear what I'm gonna do to him, bro. No one cares if you come over getting upset that somebody did a dirty pin to you. At least nobody was there outside and he didn't cheat like that. Like it was just a simple top rope, second rope pin, and then he gets upset over it, even though you lost in under 10 minutes flat. Now they're making Karrion to probably feud with Jeff and just showing over that you lose over your debut as from a developmental with a lot of stock in you. It's not really extending more of my interest if you come over on your debut losing. And then we had a promo involving Charlie being like, "I'm back on top. I'm I'm back over the mountain." People, the art like a boring promo. Rhea Ripley came over and then they entered over with the GMs copping off that we're gonna get one more rematch. Everybody wants to see the rematch. It's the main event. Then Charlotte come over targeting the leg, kicking her knee, and it comes into that build. Yes, the women's title match was the main event. You can see why it didn't get 2.1. So they had also an open challenge for Lashley, and it was bask in my gluttony. It was bask in my gluttony. Cause I am Keith P. Oh, Keith Lee sucks ass. Dude. He sounds like he's trying to shoot a shot on a gay guy and sound intelligent at the same time. And he's still fat. No look. He's been off for a majority of 2021. The most he's done is beating Randy Orton on pay-per-view. And then he comes over returning and he loses over an open challenge shot. How is that extended fully? What's the booking for WWE? Really? Sometimes they'll do great whenever they actually strike it hot. And most of the time they'll just be like, oh, shit. It's garbage. Lashley literally primarily dominated most of the match. Powerlifting, there was a dropkick. Keith came with a near a pounce. Lashley speared him on the outside. Came with a near dominator. There was a spear bomb reversal into a spear. Lashley wins. The match was uh just knowing this this is how they really want Keith Lee to be interesting. Doesn't work. So that's literally how it. And then Oldberg shows up. Oldberg showed up. Goldberg showed up on Raw for Spear versus Spear Part 2. It was cool to see Goldberg again. The extent of the pop that I thought would be a bit better, but it'll be cool. Sure, it's not gonna bring over a draw, but it'll be cool to see Lashley face somebody more important because nobody wants a Kofi Kingston feud to continue because Kofi sucks. Then we had Doudrop and Eva Marie in a segment with Alexa Bliss. Again, even though they literally fought weeks prior, and then they still go over their stupid segments. Doudrop looking like you can't wear leopard print and be fat. It's just terrible. You look like a mother. And Eva Marie just looks like she's about to do an IG photo, and she's not getting the extent of heat that she should be getting, in my opinion. And then we had the main event. It was pretty cool. I'll admit it was a no, I'm joking. It was the same match. It was the same match. These women never wrestle a different way. That pisses me off. So it broke off over the outside, selling over the leg, and it ends in a double count out. Oh, but Nikki Ash came and cashed in the women's Money in the Bank into the bare minimum of pop that you should get when somebody cashes in after just winning the Money in the Bank the last night. And she cashes in. And she wins. To the excitement of, oh yeah, Biggie steals Money in the Bank. Nobody cares. Because Charlotte's probably going to push over a feud with her. Because Nikki Ash isn't over. And whatever Asperger's does come SummerSlam, it's going to be the extent of no reaction. Because her superhero gimmick isn't over. So, all I know is Raw was average. There were some parts that made me actually excited, like the No More Words and Cena segments. And some of the mid card is still disappointing. And no one cared about the main event. Not even the ending. It was good to see at least Raw increase presumptively in ratings, but it's all about the consistency. If you have consistency and you go up, that's good business for WWE because it shows that they have a good product and people have a reason to actually waste their money on it. That's actually going to increase the profits to make sure that there's actual value in the core product, or Raw can gradually decline in quality over the show, but they're still going to be making profits obviously because of Chinese and Hindi blood money. Other than that, that's it coming from the show. Thanks for watching. That's it for me. Sorry for the long pause. I thought I heard something.